All right, today we are going to start to introduce the metric system. So we are going to learn what some of the different metric units are and how the metric system works. So the first thing we need to know is that the metric system, it combines prefixes and base units. So we have a couple different prefixes that we will be using. There are more to the metric system. These are the three we will use the most. So if you want, you can pause the video right here and fill in your table. The first prefix is milli, and that gets abbreviated with just M, and that means 1/1000th of something. Centi is the next prefix, and it means, or it gets abbreviated with just a C, and it means 1/100th of something. Kilo gets abbreviated with a K, and it means 1000 of something. Then the base units, again, you can pause it here if you want to fill in your video before or fill in your notes before continuing. So the base units, this is what we actually use to measure stuff. So meters, they get abbreviated with just an M, and they measure length. So kind of the American version of that would be like feet or yards. Next up, grams, that gets abbreviated with G, and it is a unit of mass. So here, again, in America, we use like pounds for this one. A gram is a lot smaller than a pound, though. And then liters, this measures volume. We use fluid ounces. The letter for liters, it just gets abbreviated with an L, and it measures volume. So make sure you have this filled in your notes. And then we can continue. So here are a couple examples of how we combine prefixes with the base units. So a milliliter, for example, notice the prefix here, milli, and then we just add it. It's called prefix because it comes before the word. So milli before liter, that means 1/1000th of a liter. If we have centimeter, centi means 1/100th of a meter. So that's where we get centimeter from. Kilogram, kilo, 1000 grams. So kilogram is just 1000 grams. And that's how those examples work. The relationships here, so this is something that will be really helpful to you this unit. The way our metric system works is we have one base unit is equal to 1000 of the milli whatever. So if you look at these blanks, you can fill in any metric unit here. So we could say 1 meter equals 1000 millimeters. 1 gram equals 1000 milligrams. So these boxes here are just to be replaced with the unit you want to use. So if we look here at some examples, like 1 gram is 1000 milligrams. If we go to centis here, so 1 liter is 100 centiliters, that's our example. And then 1000 meters is 1 kilometer. So that's how those boxes work. You can just replace it with grams or liters or meters, any of the metric units that we're using. Some other things that you're probably already familiar with, but we'll be using this unit. We need to know these conversion factors, that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds, 1 hour is 60 minutes, 1 day is 24 hours, a week is 7 days, 1 foot is 12 inches, 1 yard is 3 feet, and 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Just to be able to visualize some of this, because you're probably unfamiliar with the metric system, 1 milligram is about the mass of like 1 grain of salt here. That's about 1 milligram. So a milligram is really tiny. 1 gram is like the mass of a paperclip. So again, pretty small. 1 kilogram or 1 kilogram is just like this pack of Nutella here. So like think of a jar of peanut butter. That's about 1 kilogram. And for reference, 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. When we are converting unit and we think about distances, this is a picture of a meter stick here. So 1 centimeter is one of the small divisions on the meter stick between the whole numbers that it gives you. And then 1 millimeter is one of the really tiny divisions on there. So there are 1,000 of those little divisions on the meter stick. There's 1,000 millimeters in a meter, and there are 100. That's why if we see here, it goes up to 90, 97, 98, 99, and 100 is covered up by the end cap here. But there are 100 centimeters in a meter. When we convert our units, the way we do that is by following these steps. So first step is that we want to write our given number, and we write it over 1 to make it into a fraction. And we'll see an example of this in a second. Next up, we want to find the correct conversion factor. So that's like there are 100 centimeters in a meter. That's a conversion factor, or 7 days in a week. Then we want to set up the conversion factor so that the given units are on the bottom. So if we take a look at this, it looks like this. Let's say we are given some units, like let's say we're given meters. We would put meters on the top, however many meters we have, and we just put it over 1 on the bottom to make it into a fraction. Then we multiply it by our conversion factor. So we set it up as a fraction. So then we take meters, that would go on the bottom in the denominator, and then in the numerator on the top, whatever units we're trying to convert to. Then we just cancel out our units. So because it's just a fraction, if we have the same thing on the top and the bottom, they will cancel out. Once we have canceled out our units and we're in the right units, then we just multiply going across the top and we multiply going across the bottom. So we'll get a number for all the top, the numerators multiplied together, number for all the bottom, the denominators multiplied together, then we divide those. So it's just like multiplying fractions from algebra class. Once we're done, we just write our final answer that we get with the new units. So here is what this looks like. Let's say I want to convert 2.37 kilometers. I want to know how many meters is that. So we're given 2.37 kilometers, which is what we write on the top. Put it over 1 to turn it into a fraction. Then we need a conversion factor. So we need to know if I'm given kilometers and I want to go into meters, I need to know, well, how many kilometers are in a meter or vice versa. So this is where we need to use what we wrote down earlier with all the different conversion factors. So 1,000 meters is in 1 kilometer, so that's what we would write down. So notice we're given kilometers, then we put it on the bottom, so 2.37 kilometers, we say 1 kilometer on the bottom, and then 1,000 meters on top. So this is just how we set up our fractions, and we will do more of this once we get to worksheet 3.